What's going on, guys? Emo Tempest here today, back for another card of the week. And today I have a special guest. I brought along Andy Carmona. Some of you might remember him. And since we are talking about Lightnings and Dragoons, I thought he'd have a lot to say about this one.
Pulled me out of the realm of retirement.
We like to call that the Shadow Realm around here.
And asked me, hey, this is a new purple card. You want to talk about it? I was like, sure, I guess.
I'm hoping going down the road, I don't think we have too many more of these, honestly. The set comes out the 8th. We are a few weeks out, so we'll probably have maybe one or two or more of these. So see if we can get someone else on it for later. But without further ado, Andy, would you do the honors and read this card?
This card, Alus, 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 whatever you want to call it. Let's see, it is a
loose card.
A noose. It's a loose goose.
A loose, the goose is loose.
We can do this all day.
But all right.
Check it out. It's 5 CP backup, right? Category 3, and its job is a prince. Cool. I've never played 3, so I don't know how this card interacts, if it's true to its text compared to what it does in game. Anywho, when this card enters the field, or at the beginning of the main phase 1 during each of your turns, reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a job Dragoon or a card named Dragoon, add it to your hand. If it's not a job Dragoon or a card named Dragoon, put it into the break zone. Then it has a tap ability. It says, put this card into the break zone, choose one forward, dole it.
First thoughts,
interesting.
Andy?
I mean, Dragoon support, right? Like,
that's what we all want.
No, that's not what we all want. It's just, it's one of the things where, like, you know, as there's always a new set, right? There's always that one card that's like, oh, this makes Dragoon. Oh, this makes Dragoon. Right?
Last time was Barbara, right? Barbara was the last one.
Yeah, Barbara was the one that's just like, oh, this makes Dragoon. And what did you see a Dragoon deck?
Maybe once.
Yeah.
But never, like, and I only saw it at local.
Like,
right?
maybe, local. This is a local level card. It should never, go up there. But maybe we're being too harsh on it only because it's Dragoons. And, you know, if you've been in the game long enough, as this guy has, you know that Dragoons is a pipe dream. Right? It's basically like, oh, we can always do this and that, and then once 2 or 3 months into the set, it's gone.
So let's break this down a little bit more. Just by scrolling down here a little bit, we noticed that RB mentions Estinian Barbara and the classic standard unit Dragoon.
That's the good one.
That's the good one, right? That's the one that's cost is reduced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is probably the ones you'll play. Barbara was Opus 7, and I think that was the last time we saw a good one that was like, oh, this might make it. Help Dragoons out.
Right.
So effectively, these are just some of the options that we can. My main concern here with this card is that I feel like it's kind of a trap, in my opinion. Obviously, I'm not to say that we're not going to try this card. Obviously, we want to make the dream a reality. That's always the plan. But so if you're not hitting the Dragoons off the top, you're effectively removing cards that you'll eventually need for the deck, or that you're kind of like waiting for. So if in order to optimize this, you would have to have a heavy forward deck, right?
Yeah, because let's think about it, right?
Go ahead.
Our backups Dragoons.
Mm-hmm. No, actually they're not. I meant like I thought you were gonna say something.
No, yeah. Our summons Dragoons.
Nope.
Our monsters Dragoons.
Nope.
All right. So the only thing that you're really hitting are forwards, and depending on the percentage of your ratio, you know, this card's really going to be missing a lot. So you got to ask yourself, is the deck that you're building worth milling? Because I believe this is a mandatory effect. Yeah, mandatory. It doesn't say you may. This is mandatory, meaning you play this card, you're on a time limit now. You've just started the clock. You're going to mill yourself out. So that being said, you have to build towards, I'm guessing, a more aggressive, hasty style. So you definitely want to play this maybe in a mono lightning, because of the nature of the haste that they originally have. So if you try to do this like usually Dragoon decks, or if not mono lightning, you can do like a wind water. That's going to be, I mean, not wind water, water lightning. Yeah, because of the cane and the Rosa thing. But that's going to be a little too slow, because then at this point, you know, the only water Dragoon is Freya. You know. So once again, you're going to be milling a lot of your support. Now, maybe let's look on the other side of the spectrum. How playable is it, and when it does go off, right?
Yeah, so even if we wanted to make this card effective, like super effective, right, we would have to play triple probably, and then to get it as fast as possible, we would need searchers or something to filter or like fish for it, right? So first things that come to mind are Porum, Battaron in water, and Piju, which is what we used to get Noctis in the Earth Water before. So that's one way.
Prince,
yeah, it searches job class prints.
Nice.
So that's, but then again, even adding Porum and Piju, those are less dragoons.
Not a dragoon.
Those are less. Yeah, exactly. Those are less dragoons that you're playing, right? So effectively, it's like, and how long do you leave it, right? What's the like? If you hit 3 in a row, you break it, right? The next turn, you don't want to go more than that. You draw 3 cards a turn for 3 turns in a row, and then do we leave it up or do we keep going?
Right. It all depends on the flow of the game.
On the flow of the game.
You know, if you're playing against maybe discard and you're like, okay, this is gonna keep you afloat. That's great. I think this is a great card against discard. You know, something like that might help.
Right.
If you're hitting it. So once again, your ratios have to be a little bit more towards the forward heavy, and you got to be favoring the dragoon side. So if you wanted to play something more like dragoon oriented with support, you got to understand that the only real support you're gonna get is like Barbara and Kane that supports other dragoons, right?
Yeah, my problem with this too is like, so it's at the beginning of the main phase, so you will be able to respond. So like going even further, right, to make sure we don't miss this, or like, actually no, because it's mandatory first thing. So like, even if I had Yule or Hurdy to try to like supplement that, right, like to try to ensure it, it's impossible. Like even with Yuna, right, like even if we could see the top card of the deck, it's mandatory, right? So I wouldn't be able to try to draw or change that before it happens, right?
No, well, all that happens on resolution. What's happening is just like, okay, you have to reveal the top card of the deck and everything. I don't think that's like the cost or anything. That's
no, of course, but I mean,
that's just like, oh, Prince auto ability is activating, and then you can start your own stack with that.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, okay, so our turn, activate, draw 2 cards. First thing, at the beginning of your main phase, right? I have to reveal. So even if I had like, for other reveal cards in the past, we would use Yule. Now we have Hurdy to kind of like look and try to get more stuff, right? And then Yuna, the light Yuna.
Okay.
But even if we had all that, it wouldn't matter, right? Because because it's mandatory. So if
it's just starting the stack, but you just you continue the stack. So then when it resolves backwards, you get to look first, and then the reveal is the last.
So let's say we look, right? And then we look with Yuna. Let's say we have Yuna and Alus on the board, and we look with Yuna, and it's not a Dragoon. How do we fix it so we get the Dragoon next turn? We don't, because even if
you have to do something within your turn to ensure that you're putting something on top of it. You need some sort of deck manipulation, is what you're saying.
Exactly. Even if we wanted to like try to land it every time, we don't have.
But you can interrupt your stacks before even that resolves.
That's what I'm saying. So what could we do in that, like at that step?
No, at that point, once again, you're adding additional cards.
Yeah, exactly.
And are going to do, whatever, right? So I think the post goes a little bit longer and shows what you can do with cards that are being milled that you kind of need. And there's a bit of there it is.
Yeah. So ideally, just by looking here, Diana to recover your Alba, and then Lid and X Death to get back stuff as well. But again, it's really just comes down to if you hit the Dragoon, it's great. But if you don't, then you're actually possibly losing these cards as well. Where it's very double sided, right? Like when it's winning, these are super amazing. Or like when it's missing and you have these, it's works out. But if not, then you're just losing these and not getting what you need.
It's still setting you up for failure. It's just like okay, now you open your hand. It's like, oh, the lid. Okay, well now if I play the Alus or whatever, it's like, okay, well now I have to hold on to the lid because if I mill something important, I can always get it back with this. No, that's stupid. Yeah, like you want to be able to always like use the cards properly, like the ones in your hand, So I don't know. I'm not too sold on the card, but okay. Let's say the scenario, right? You drop it first turn. Then when you had first dropped it, it gets you a card. Cool. It becomes a 3 CP backup now. And then your main phase 1 rolls around again, and boom, you hit another Dragoon. Great. Now this is a 1 CP backup, right? Are you winning the game from that?
I better be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot to think about for this card. Again, just we're just discussing it. And honestly, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say.
It might be broken.
It might be broken.
It might be broken.
There's always cards we haven't seen in the set, right? That might just add on to it. Maybe we're gonna get another Dragoon that says, if this is in your break zone, add it to your hand, or something. I don't know why.
Yeah, because it's not gonna get discarded. But like
exactly.
a heroic Dragoon that says
Exactly.
when you play a card named Dragoon or a job Dragoon, it jumps from your break zone to the field, like Dole or something. I don't know. It could be
Insane.
something stupid like that. But why not, right?
Yeah.
You know. But you know what? One fact that I wanted to make. All right, so good Dragoons like Estinian and Kane, the 8 CP one, right?
8 CP. Yeah.
You know, when those cards came out, nobody said, "Damn, this card is so good, it's gonna be great in my Dragoon deck." No, that's how you can tell like it's a good Dragoon card, because you never associate it with a Dragoon deck. You just associate it by how well the card is.
Yeah.
You know. So when you have to associate with like, oh, well, this will work in a Dragoon deck, you're already kind of like
setting its expectations.
Yeah, you're really lowering the power of it. You know, I don't want to hate on Dragoons. You know, I love the Dragoon job class. I mained the crap out of it in 14. You know, they're always like the coolest thing. I think it's the coolest thing Final Fantasy has ever created. The Dragoon job class, that and like Gunblades. But yeah, I mean. It's interesting, and I'm glad that Dragoons little by little keep getting support. And you never know, maybe it's not still their time to shine. I hear Fire's shining pretty awesome, so you know, there's that, right? We can't all like Opus 10 is not gonna fix everything. It's not gonna be like, oh, Opus 10, great, now Fire is completely playable, and Dragoon decks are a thing, and the Mandeville Man comes back to play. Like that's not gonna happen.
We can always hope for all these things.
Yeah, I think 2 of the 3 might happen.
2 of the 3,
but not all 3.
We'll see which ones they are then. All right, guys, that's going to wrap us up. Thanks, RB, for sharing this with us this week. It seems like Kageyama will be back with a final Opus 10, the final Opus 10 Ancient Champions card of the week. So, yeah, the set does come out in a few weeks. So
what if it's a typo and you meant to say Final Fantasy Opus 10?
Well, we'll see. We'll find out next week when he lets us know. Guys, thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.